The agenda for today is I'm going to introduce myself, and I also have Josh Stearns, the CEO of AccuBuild, on the line here, and we're going to introduce us, and we'll talk a little bit about what are some of the biggest issues that we're having with contractors, or that you're having with contractors, and what's the impact on your business, and also talk a little bit about why we developed this product. And we'll go into actually a live demonstration. You're going to see the product today and how it fits into AccuBuild, also what the benefit is to you and what the benefit is to your subcontractors. And we'll also have an invitation and going into Q&A. What we've done is we've gone ahead and muted everybody just so that we have a clean line, and you know, the demonstration and the presentation will be clear for everybody. But I would like to ask, if you would, just so I know that you can hear me and the quality is okay, could you just pop into the chat and just say hello or raise your hand or, you know, say good morning or something like that, so I know that everybody could hear me? There we go. Very good. All right. Hi, Mike. Hi, Candace. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Pat Rose, I can hear you. Hi, Pat. Very good. Okay, so we're going to jump right in then. Introduction. Today we have Josh Stearns, who's the CEO of AccuBuild. He's very instrumental in this product, developing it and seeing it through. Josh has been in the business for many, many years. He'll be talking here shortly. And my name is Terry Middleton. I recently joined AccuBuild as the Director of Sales and Marketing. I'm absolutely fired up to be here. I love doing this. I love what AccuBuild represents, the product, the history, and probably just as important is the value that I see that this product does for construction businesses and for your business, and the value that it brings to allowing you to manage your business. I didn't come here on a whim. I did my homework before I came on board, and I understood what this product means to the customers, and also the philosophy that people here have toward their customers. So glad to be here. So let's talk about, and please, I'm very interested in if you'll put into the chat some of the issues that you're having with your subcontractors and managing them. But for example, some of the things that we notice and hear about is the subcontractors being out of compliance and the problems that faces. Maybe their workman's comp has expired, and getting that documentation, or they have a lien that they haven't released, or they have released it and it hasn't been signed, right? And just that whole process of getting that documentation signed and into your hands, right? Or maybe they haven't signed a contract. And so another thing that we know about is double billing. Subcontractors may be overbilling you or double billing you for work. And just that mechanism of going back and forth, or maybe they don't have the proper documentation. Maybe they completed work and they don't have a picture of it, or they didn't sign something that was allowing them to release something. Or maybe just tracking their job completion, right? Maybe they think they've done the work that hasn't been signed off by the supervisor. Invoicing. They submit an invoice, and where's that sitting? Is it sitting on someone's desk? Do we get it into the hands of the right people? The subcontractor's frustrated. You're frustrated because you have all this other paperwork to deal with. Also, subcontractor orders. What happens is projects are getting pushed. And so I'm very interested, just in the chat, some of the issues that you're having in your day-to-day with your subcontractors, what are they? Do you have problems? No problems. No, everyone's saying it at once, right? So yeah, I'm just curious if you do. Go ahead and type that in. And if you don't, that's fine. Tracking, building, okay. Thanks, Janice. Yeah. Okay, that's a big one. Absolutely. Anyone else have problems? Major ones that's just a pain, and if you could eliminate that or reduce it, that would make life easier for you and for the subcontractor, and ultimately making you more money. Following up, thank you, Lori. Following up when insurance expires. Okay. That's Thank you for that. Anyone else?
I'll add one, Terry. I think just overall general communication about the project, having a place where subcontractors and their customers, that vendor-customer relationship where they can communicate to each other about various aspects of the project and collaborate.
Very good. Yep. So these are some of the big issues that we're facing. And what's the impact on your business? Well, the biggest one is profits are fading. When there's a lot of inefficiencies, money's being wasted, it's being burned. Your risk on the project goes up. And, from the standpoint of, thank you, Janice, from the standpoint of, the staff, everyone who manages the project, very frustration, a lot of inefficiencies. Let's talk about the subcontractors. They're frustrated as well. One of the big things is, when are they going to get paid? That's probably that's the biggest thing on their mind. And so on both sides of it, everyone's losing money, everyone's losing time, everyone's frustrated, and so we know that this is a big problem, right? So we do have to ask the question, what if, through this process, what if, you could improve subcontractor relationships? And ultimately, subcontractors who are doing the work are just like staff. I mean, they make the business, right? They can make or break it. And so when we develop this product, these are some of the questions that we asked and are trying to solve, right? So why did we develop this product? And I want to be clear that there's really only one reason. Sure, it's going to solve many problems, as you're going to see here shortly, but it's the ultimate goal is to make your business more profitable, more efficient. It's not about AccuBuild, it's about your business, and ultimately making your life easier, streamlining, using technology to enhance your business, to make your profits grow. At the end of the day, that's why we come to work. So I want to put that out there just so you know that this is what our thought life is, and this is what we come to work and we talk about. And the focus is not on AccuBuild, but the focus is on you and your business. So with that being said, let's talk about subcontractor pay. What I'd like to do now is hand the floor over to Josh Stearns to go through that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Terry. So I'm going to, if you guys bear with us while we just switch here technically, I'm going to make myself the presenter. I am now here. There's my screen. And all right. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks, Terry, for running through that. Everyone, welcome to the webinar again. This is Josh. I'm happy to have you here. And I'm really excited about this product. It's something that we've been working on for a little while, and we've actually implemented it at one place in particular. It's really, really making a lot of change, and so we're excited to bring this to you guys and really show you how it can help build your business and kind of streamline some of these processes. So I'm going to start off by giving you a demonstration of the product. I'm going to show you kind of how a subcontractor would interact with the AccuBuild subcontractor pay system, and then how that in turn is going to interact with your AccuBuild construction software. So, people in the back office who are issuing the contracts, who are approving the invoices, who are entering the invoices, who are tracking the workers' comp and the liens and all that, and doing the project management. How do these two things interact? And it's really cool because it's all integrated. So we're gonna kind of run through all that. I'm going to start off here. We're just going to log into the subcontractor pay system. So the way a subcontractor logs in is basically we provide them with a URL, which is just a website that they go to, and they put in a username and password that you have provided them. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here with my username and password. This particular one, I'm actually just using my vendor number. which becomes an easy password for everyone to remember. That's how we set this one up. But you can make it whatever you want. Not really limited there. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. Okay. So I'm actually logged in right now as a subcontractor. It's a company called XYZ Flooring. And when I log in, this is my home screen, right? This is how I see what projects I have going on. I see communications. I get some status about various, charts and gauges on the right that tell me, things like my contract totals, rate by job, or whatever we really want to show the subcontractor. But this is the home screen, right? This is where they log in, and this is where everything kind of starts. So I'll just walk you through from left to right what this is. So the profile violations up here in the top left. For those of you that use AccuBuild, you know that you can track inside of a vendor where they, if they have a workers' comp certificate when it expires, right? If they have a signed contract. Any violations of any of those profiles that you set up, whether they're on a specific job or they're a total to this vendor, are going to show up right here as soon as they log in. So they have instant communication. This particular one that I'm using as an example right now has 2 violations. Right? It has a workers' comp and a signed contract. If I click on that, I can actually see the individual details. So you can see here, okay, our records indicate that the workers' comp expired on 6/1/2017. Okay, so it's very helpful. There's no denying that we told them, hey, your workers' comp was expired. Down below that, you can see the subcontracts that we have issued to them. It's got the subcontract number as well as the project name there. And actually, you can get to a list of those by clicking on more details, which we'll go in here in just a second. But first, I want to cover these other 2 areas. In the middle here, we've got the kind of communication dashboard where the customer can communicate with their subcontractors and vice versa, right? You'll see there's a couple of examples here. It's more like a Facebook interface where if I got a question, I can send it here and it immediately goes to the admin in AccuBuild. They can respond back, and we can just create an open dialogue about things and that are related to the project. For example, when am I going to get paid, right? That's probably a common one. When was the ACH, released, or when did you cut checks? Those are things we can have in there. On the right side is the various charts. And so these are customizable, or we can show the sub whatever we want. I just got a couple of quick examples in here. I've got my contract totals. So if I wanted to see by subcontract, the totals for each one, I've got an example of AP by job, what's open and closed. And then down below, I've got one that says last 5 checks. But really, whatever you want here, this can be personalized. So if you want to communicate other information to your subcontractors, that's totally doable right inside. Okay. Back over here to the contract side, kind of the core of the system is, this is the home screen, but the core of the system is it allows the subcontractors to actually submit the billings to the AccuBuild system for approval. So if we go here to contracts, and I'll click on more detail, it brings up a list of the projects, the jobs that this sub has. These are actual live subcontracts that we've issued. And we're actually going to go through this process here in a minute of doing it. But they can come in here and they can actually submit a bill. They can look at different documents that you've shared with them. They can upload documents. They can do a lot of things inside of here. Okay. So I'll just show you, for example, if we click here on this job doc right there, when we click on that, you can see here, these are the documents that we're sharing out with our subcontractors. So, if I wanted them to see things, maybe like signed agreements, photos, specifications, plans, those types of things, I can share them with them and they show up here. I can also give them the ability to upload files to me, and this goes real time into the AccuBuild project management system. Okay, so it allows not just for the billing side, but also for document collaboration. So things like photos, if you have a photo in there that you wanted to view, you can go and look at different photos in here, open those up. There's a photo of the White House, but it's just an example. Or any PDF files, whatever it is, you can collaborate and share documents. So the next thing, which is probably the most important, is the ability to submit billings, right? So if I click here under this Challenger School, I click on the subcontract number, it actually shows me the items, the scheduled values that I have issued to XYZ Flooring Company on this subcontract agreement. And so they actually have the ability to come in here and do their progress draw and submit it to the company in real time. Now, it still has to go through the approval process, which we'll cover, but this is really cool. So if I come in here and I'm looking at item 1, I've got a bunch of items on this subcontract. Let's just say, I've got carpet section 1, first floor. I can actually come here and either put in a dollar amount or a billing amount. Let's say I'm going to bill that at 100% and maybe the next one at 100%. Okay. As soon as I do that and I hit save, that billing is now in the system of back in AccuBuild, right? So the vendor just submitted a bill for me to approve, okay? That's in real time. It doesn't automatically go to AP. Somebody still has to approve it, but we don't have to rekey any of that information. It's really that simple. I just click it and it goes in. So where does it go to, right? If you use the invoice routing and approval process inside of AccuBuild, you'll see right here on today's date, right, there's an invoice entered in the system, okay? So it came in real time back into my AccuBuild system. And if I click here on the AP entries, I can see the individual percentages that were entered. This actually might be the wrong one. Hold on a second. This one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I can see the individual percentages that were entered. And I can, I have the ability to approve or reject these, but they come real time. And now I have the ability to say, okay, yeah, I approve it. You're 100% on this item, or you're 20%, or you're 15%. But it gives me the ability to do that. So let's just say it's a perfect world here, and I'm going to go ahead and say submit and approve it, okay? Now it goes into my approved document section over here, and it can actually be posted right through to accounts payable, right? So this is part of the document routing feature inside of AccuBuild, so it fully integrates with AP, with the document management, and the invoice routing and approval process. I don't know how, we probably won't go into a whole lot of detail on the invoice routing and approval, but that's kind of the gist of it. Once they submit it, it goes in here, and then the project manager, whoever's in charge, can log in, approve it, and send it on over to AP. Okay. So we've looked at the home screen, kind of how you log in, how the sub interacts with the system. But how do we issue new subcontracts, right? How does that process work, like within AccuBuild, right? A lot of you are probably already doing that, maybe setting up your purchase orders or your subcontract orders with your committed cost. So how does that process interact with subcontractor pay? Let's go through, and we'll just walk through real quick creating a new subcontract order. So all you do is come in here to orders. You go to subcontract orders, which if you're dealing with subs, you're probably already familiar with. Once inside of here, we just go through the process of entering a new subcontract order. So I'm going to click add, and I'm going to start selecting through the different fields here. Okay, so the job that we're going to use is going to be L17002 ABC Construction Project. Okay. And the vendor that we're going to use for this is XYZ Flooring. Okay, that's our vendor. Same one that we used last time. And what we're going to do after this is after we issue this subcontract, we're actually going to go log in, and we'll see that this becomes a new subcontract for that vendor. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of these defaults, set up my terms, set up my sales tax districts, set my retention percentage on the subcontract side. I'm kind of rushing through this because if you haven't used subcontract orders, that's a whole other, training session. But the point here that we're trying to do is just get you an idea of how easy it is to issue these if you're already using the system. So I'm going to enter in a couple of line items on this subcontract order that I've already set up there. And I'm going to go ahead and save them. Okay. And basically, I just created a new subcontract order for this project, L17002. Okay. And if you've ever used, the subcontract system, you can print these off, right? You can email them to the client. Okay. But that establishes my committed costs inside the system. Okay. So how does this subcontract that we just issued to XYZ Flooring get to the web portal, right? It's really nice because it's all integrated. As soon as I issue the subcontract, right, it automatically goes in there. So you'll see here now there's a new subcontract agreement under the contracts. There was only 4 before. Now there's 5, 35487 for ABC 123 construction project. And I'll go here to more details. And once I get into the actual project here, you can see those items that I issued on the subcontract are here, right? So it's really that quick. As soon as I issue the subcontract order out to the sub, it can show up here on my sub portal. So is there any questions, Terry, just to make sure as we're going through this?
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Rose had a question about what about putting in job number and phase code?
Yeah, in the subcontract order itself, absolutely. So, Pat, we kind of brushed through that because there's some prerequisites to assume, like if you're using the subcontract system already in AccuBuild, this is the extension of that. But in there, we do actually issue. You go back here and you look at the subcontract that we issued. We're putting in the job number and the phase for each one of these items, each scheduled value for the subcontractor. Hope that answers that question, Pat. Okay. So we've looked at kind of the home screen. We've looked at how you real quickly issue a subcontractor. I also, too, just want to go through the process and show you how in real time, if we had a lien or if we had workers' comp, how that's updating in real time back to the subcontractor, right? So we're communicating with them in real time based on information that's inside of AccuBuild. So I'll come in here and I'll go to payables and vendors. And I'm going to select the company XYZ Flooring. Okay. And I'm going to go here to the workers' comp. Okay. So you can see here, just as you saw in the portal, XYZ Flooring actually has 2 profile violations, right? Their workers' comp expires 6/1/2017. This is mirrored inside the home screen of the subcontractor pay system, right? So you can see right here, they've got a profile of workers' comp, right? That's violated, okay? Or anything else you set up in there. As I update this in AccuBuild, in real time, it updates for the subcontractor. Okay, so if I come in here and say, you know what, their workers' comp is no longer expired, right? Maybe it goes, it's maybe they give me a new one, right? And it's going to be 2018. Okay. That should update in real time here inside of my home screen. So now you'll see here in real time, as soon as I'm updating those records, that workers' comp profile violation just went away from my subcontractor. Okay, so it's kind of nice, as soon as I'm updating my records, instead of me having to print a report and then call them or email them, it's just there in the system, right? Oh, we have another question, so go ahead.
Yeah, this is from Pat also. What if contract amount is $1 million, and they only completed 50,000. We put in 0.05 to get the dollar amount submitted. There's usually only one line entered for total contract.
That's fine. That's not a big deal. You can do it either way. Yeah. So you can have one item or you can have 100 items. It doesn't really matter. That's just how you break down your subs. And they can bill you on a dollar amount or percentage basis. It's all configurable as we set it up. So yeah, it's a really good question, Pat. You can do that. You can actually just bill it on a percentage if it's, 50% or whatever. So we were talking about the profile violations here, right? And how that updates. So this works the same for liens. If you have lien notifications, like if a supplier lien the project, and you plug that into their vendor file inside AccuBuild, as soon as they log in, they're going to see that. Okay. Another thing that I really like about the subcontractor portal here, when they log into AV Subcontractor Pay, is I can communicate with the subs, with all my subs, in one easy-to-use interface. So right now, I'm logged in as a subcontractor. But if I log out here real quick, and I log in as the admin, I'm going to see more communication here in my feed, right? Because now I see everything. So whenever a sub sends me a message, I'm going to see it here. I can also communicate in real time back to the subcontractors, right? If I wanted to send a message, all I have to do is just like I would do in anything like social media or Twitter or something, just type the @ and I'm going to send it to Josh Stearns, right? And I'm going to say, thanks for getting us your new workers' comp start. Your check is in the mail, right? It's good news. You like to hear that. We go ahead and hit send. So now, whenever Josh logs in as that subcontractor, which we'll go do, he's going to see this now in the message, right? So if I just quickly, I'll log out, go back in as that user. There it is. Right. Thanks for getting us your new workers' comp. Your check is in the mail. And thank you. There you go. So we can follow that feed of communication back and forth from the subcontractor. Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So there's two questions. So Pat asked again, we currently set up order number for sub and fill in contract amount. Does this mean we no longer need to do that?
I'm not sure I understand the question, so we have to probably dive a little deeper on that. Maybe we can get kind of call on that one. Yeah.
Okay, Pat will do that. And then Janice asked the question, do we have to be in the model to see a correspondence from the sub?
Yes, you do have to log in to see a correspondence, unless we set up an alert that alerts you. So we could configure an alert to alert you when a new message comes in from a subcontractor, right? Like if you wanted it to send a text message or if you wanted it to send an email to a group of people or an individual, we can do that with the alert. So. Any questions?
Yeah. So Chris has a question. Can the communication with the sub be broken down by job?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if that's a really good feature request. So, maybe doing a tag of the project would be a good idea in there and search for that project. I don't believe in this. Yeah, in this version, no. I'm going to say no on that, Chris. But that's definitely something we can add to the list to throw in there. That'd be awesome. Good suggestion. That's why I love doing these webinars, man. You guys have the best ideas, right? You guys are out there in the trenches, so.
Yeah, so thank you for those questions. Keep them coming, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just kind of recapping here, I think we went through kind of the login of the home screen. We've issued a subcontractor. I'll do that a little quick, but kind of get the idea. We looked at the liens and the profiles in the system. We've submitted an invoice. And now I think one of the last things that I want to wrap up with here is just talk about how the document management integration works for sharing information in real time back to your subcontractors. So we've got this project right here, the Challenger School, right? And that's our subcontract number is 35460. So I'm going to go into AccuBuild's project management system real quick, and I'm going to go into one of the logs that we have here. It's called a document folder log, right? And it allows me to create folders that I can actually share them with the sub. So we've got this project, the Challenger School, right? If I click on that, you'll see here that there is several, there's two folders in here. One is called job site documents, the other is called subcontractor file share, okay? Any subfolders inside of here, any documents, you can see the subfolders down below. When I click up here, I click on the log, you see the subfolders down below. Like signed agreements, lien releases, anything that I want to share with my subs right now, I can upload into here and it will become available to them in real time, right? And that can be something that I share with all subs on the job, or it can be something I share just specifically with this sub, depending upon the folder security. Okay, and so we help you guys go through that, but there's definitely security.
And added to that, Josh, Janice had a question. So any sub would see all the correspondence that you have for all subs, which I think you just answered because you can configure that.
Yeah, so you can actually configure it. I'll show you when we go back into the sub portal here. There's two icons. One is SC docs, which are just to that sub, and one is job docs. So I think of it in the world of like, job documents. I might want to share like a site plan, right? Or, a safety plan or something like that out there with everybody on the project, every subcontractor. So like the signed agreements, the lien releases, those types of things, I want to share just specifically with that one sub, and that's all doable right out of the box with the software. So, but if I attach any files in here, I'll just grab, some file, doesn't really matter what it is. Let's see. I can grab a TIFF file, doesn't matter, it could be anything. That file instantly becomes available inside of the documents here. So you got two types of documents. The job docs we're talking about and the subcontractor docs. So depending upon where I drop that and secured on that folder, subcontractors only see their documents. I drop this in the everything folder, okay? And so we're going to be able to see, I forget which one we did it in. It was under those job documents. Well, let me just go back. Oh, it was under lien releases. It was under conditional progress release. Okay, that's good if I can remember where I put it. So we'll go conditional progress release, and boom, there's that file for me, right? And I can open that up, and this is just a dummy invoice that I had in there, but it could be anything, right? And so it gives me a secure way to share files back and forth from my subcontractors.
So Pat has another question.
Yeah.
You say that you get it in real time. Doesn't that mean the sub needs to be logged in? For us to get info, we would have to be logged in. I have at least 75 subs. This seems like a lot more work.
Gotcha, yeah. So your subs will have to log in. And the cool thing is we found as we implemented this, because this is the system where they submit the invoice, they're motivated to get logged in, right? Particularly if we set a policy in the company like, hey, when you submit your invoicing, you have to submit it through this portal. They log in, they submit their invoicing, and they get used to going in there. And we found that the subs, and it may be a little bit in the beginning, there's a little pushback, but we found that overall they really like it because now they have visibility into the process, right? They don't have to worry about, hey, is that check sitting there on someone's desk, So we've seen really good adoption rates, even with small subcontractors. guys that were really small, and we thought, man, they may not be able to use it. It's worked really well. So. Good question, though.
Tony has one that says, is this similar to texture?
Yes, that's the same concept. Yeah.
Thank you for the question, General.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I think that was about everything I wanted to cover on the AccuBuild subcontractor pay. We really look forward to some feedback from you guys. Questions are great, thoughts. And at this point, I'm going to turn over the reins back to Terry, and he'll kind of let you know next steps if you guys are interested in learning more. But appreciate everyone's time, and thank you all for attending.
And Pat has one more question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Or several more if you want, Pat.
Yeah.
Janice has one now. Pat says, I thought this training was to help us get more out of AccuBuild, like run reports for just subs to see what was entered versus what was paid. Mm-hmm. So that's one question. Janice has one. Is there an outline like step 1 to step 10 that we can look at? And then Jessica has one. What if the sub does not log into this?
Yeah, so the sub would obviously have to log in to submit their bills online, right? Kind of going in reverse order. And then the last question was, or one of the questions was on using the reports for managing subcontractors.
Pat says this training was to help us get more out of AccuBuild. Like run reports for just subs to see what was entered versus what was paid.
Yeah, so I mean that's all possible in AccuBuild. That's not the specific agenda topic of this demonstration. But if that's something that you need help with, we'll actually make note of that and get someone to contact you and talk about how do you get those reports, because those are all available inside the system too.
Yeah. And then Janice says, is there an outline like step 1 and step 10 that we can look at? Janice, I'm not sure what you mean by outline. Are you talking about implementing this or walking through this process? And then Pat asks also, is this an add-on to AccuBuild? What is the cost?
Yeah, so this is an add-on to AccuBuild. This is not something and it depends on how we implement it, how many subcontractors. So the cost is going to vary. If you're interested in pricing, the next step is to talk with Terry, right, and go through a little bit of discovery so we can figure out a solution that best fits your needs.
Very good. And then Jessica asked, how do we enter them AccuBuild and track their work completed? If they have a total contract of $600,000, we pay them by monthly requisitions. Can that be done without the sub?
Without the web portal, I think is maybe what she's asking about. Yeah, I mean, you've always been able to, I think that's the question, Jessica, I'm not sure, but if I'm understanding it correctly, if not, let us know, email afterwards, and we'll be more than happy to get someone in touch with you. But yes, you can enter subcontracts without using subcontractor pay. This just automates the process. So now instead of me having to collect invoices from my subs and chase them down, I allow them to log in and to enter their own draws that come to me to approve. So, but yes, you can do it. You certainly can do it without the subcontractor pay. Any other questions?
Janice, I see, how would I start to set this up? So this is a good segue to talking about that. What will happen next is I'm going to send out an email to everybody. And for those people who are interested in looking at this further, what we want to do is have another conversation. We have a few questions we need to ask of you, and how many subs do you have? How do you want to implement this? And just kind of get a better picture of your business and how this impacts and how you want to basically streamline this with your subs. And so there's another conversation we'll have, and I'll send out an email so you and I can engage. And we'll have that conversation. We could do it as early as next week, and we can go from there and walk through that process. So, very good.
All right. Well, once again, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. And
can you give me control back over? I want to show them that one thing. Just from a Q&A, if you guys have, thank you, Janice. Thank you as well. I just wanted to throw up if you have questions, if you want to email me, my email is Terry, Terry, at AccuBuild.com. And certainly I'm going to be sending out an email, but feel free to ask questions or send me comments if you have them, and to that email address, and we can go from there. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time that you spent with us. You're really super important, and I'll tell you that, as a customer, thank you for putting food on our table. It's really important, and so we just want to let you know that you're appreciated. So thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk soon.